I can't even begin to express how much of a bad idea this is. Like, so much of a bad idea that things are already going wrong and I haven't even started the video. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello, how are you? How has your week been? We're gonna read 7 books in 7 days. Or at least try to. But like I said, this video's already gone wrong and I barely even started. This morning I got up and before I went to the gym, I decided I was gonna go ahead and get a start on reading the first book for this video. Because I originally had a plan. I had a plan of the books that I was gonna read, what day I was gonna read them. And the first book I was gonna read was A Slice of Heaven by Cheryl Woods. So I was reading it, I got about 20 pages in and it had taken me like 30 minutes. It's taking me a really long time. And then I was like looking at it and I was like, this font, these margins, pretty small. And this little book, 400 pages. I was like, that's literally gonna take me forever to read. Decided to pivot. Came in here, took a look at my bookshelves and said, let's try to read the shortest books on my shelf. Guess what? I really don't have that many super short books on my shelves. So like I said, we're kind of winging it. So the first book I decided to read was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. And you may be thinking, just I thought you said you were gonna try to read short books. Yes, this book is 450 pages long. However, if you look, the text and the margins, huge. Plus it is a YA fantasy and usually those, I can read those pretty quickly. Well, I'm currently 20-ish pages in, 5% of the way through, but it's currently 10:34. I have 3.5 hours before I have to leave for work. Then I actually get off of work early tonight at 7:45. So I'll have about 4 hours before I probably will go to bed. Theoretically, I can read this whole book today. We'll see if it actually happens. We'll try. 7 books in 7 days. One of the worst ideas I've ever had, but here we go. So it's 10:37. So I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes and just read for 30 minutes straight before I go grab some lunch. Page 64, which means that I read 40 pages in 30 minutes. The book has 446 pages, so we're gonna subtract 64. So that means I have 382 pages left. So we're gonna divide that by 40. And that means that there are 9.55 groups of like 40 left in the book. And then we're gonna multiply that by the 30 minutes it took me to read those 40 pages. So in order to read the rest of the book, it says it's gonna take me 286.5 minutes. So if we divide that by 60, it would take 4 hours and 45-ish minutes. We'll see, we'll see. I think something big's about to happen. It's about 2 o'clock right now, so I have to go quickly get changed to head out for work. But I am 102 pages into An Ember in the Ashes. So far, kind of intriguing, you know? Like, I noticed that the back of my book has a print error. It's supposed to say Marshall Empire, but it says Martial. I am very intrigued by it, you know, it's capturing my attention and I'm excited to see what comes next, but now I gotta go to work. But also, like, look at these beautiful end page. Like, are you kidding me? That's gorgeous. Y'all, I'm already feeling the challenge. It's currently 10 p.m. or 9:59 to be exact, okay? And I'm on page 130 of An Ember in the Ashes. This is what we're listening to. I know it's not An Ember in the Ashes, but when I searched up An Ember in the Ashes ambiance, literally nothing came up. So we're doing this. Let's see if I can't make it to like page 300 before I go to bed. no idea what time it is or how long I've been out here, but I'm on page 285. Clearly I did not finish this book last night. I'm assuming I still have a little bit of time before work, and then while I'm at work I will have an hour's worth of breaks, so hopefully I can finish it by the time I get home from work and then start reading another book. So I totally could have finished this book yesterday, but I wasted so much time on my phone. We're gonna do better about that today. I'm on page 338 of An Ember in the Ashes. It's 7:20 p.m. I read quite a bit while I was at work. And why am I literally eating this up right now? Like, I was so ready to be done with work so I could come home and finish this book. I'm loving it. Finally on the last chapter. Finally finished An Ember in the Ashes. Y'all, this was so good. I mean, I had high hopes for it, okay? I had hoped that it was gonna be really good, but I just was not prepared for how good it was gonna be. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I just had such a fun time reading this, and I was just enraptured in the story. And like, I'm so excited to pick up the next books and like continue the series. Earlier this morning I was like, what is the difference between a fantasy and a romantasy? Because I'll be honest, most of the fantasy books that I read are probably romantasy, but like, what constitutes the difference? Where's the line drawn between fantasy and romantasy? Thumbs up for this book. Then very late last night and early this morning, I started reading the second book for this video, which is Runaway, Bride, and Prejudice. I can't remember the author right now, but the goal is to finish that book and get started on book 3 today. Well, let's go get back to reading. A couple hours later, it's like a little after 1 p.m. now. I'm currently on page 143 of Runaway, Bride, and Prejudice, and I did look. It's by Emma St. Clair, but I'm about a little over a third of the way into it, and I'm enjoying it so far. So basically, this book follows Amelia and Van. Now Amelia, we pick up on Amelia's wedding day. She's getting married, and Van is at the wedding because Amelia's dad is his hockey coach. He's a hockey player. He's like trying to find a bathroom before the wedding, and he walks in on the groom and the bride's cousin. The wedding is like off, and then Amelia gets Van to go with her on her honeymoon, so she doesn't have to go alone. Yeah, it's about as crazy as it sounds. I just put my phone away, and now I am going to sit here until I finish the book. I'm having a breakdown reading this. Oh no! Oh no! No! Stop being stupid! Oh gosh! So I just finished reading Runaway, Bride, and Prejudice. It's 5:11. Got to eat dinner and go to Bible study, so I won't start the next book until tonight before I go to bed. But that is book number 2 done on day 3. 5 more books to go. Yeah. I'll gather my thoughts and give you all an update later. Because I don't know. I've read a fantasy, I've read a romance. So now I think it'd be fun to switch it up a little bit and crack open a thriller. 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. This is about like 6 friends who go on a camping trip and only 5 of them survive the night, I guess. So 386 pages. It's almost 1 in the morning. What am I saying? It's 1:40 in the morning. And I'm currently on page, I don't know. Page 318 of 5 Survive. I am enjoying it. I will say I'm not enjoying this as much as I have enjoyed A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and The Reappearance of Rachel Price by this same author, but I am thoroughly enjoying my time reading it. One of the characters is just very slowly, not slowly, very quickly deteriorating and losing their ever-loving mind. Every time I turn the page, I'm like, hey, what if you just like stopped talking? Because I think you are just a lot unhinged. I think the gasoline fumes are getting to your brain. I only have like 70-ish pages left. I have no idea if I'm gonna be able to keep my eyes open long enough to finish that. Last night, or technically really early this morning at like 2:30, I finished 5 Survive. And I was not expecting that twist at all. Holly Jackson's plot twist always take me 100% by surprise. Her mind just works in ways that I just simply cannot understand. How on earth did you think of that? I don't know. I think I'm gonna give that like a solid 4.5 stars too. You know what? Maybe I should just up an Ember in the Ashes to a 5 stars. It's now 9 a.m. on Friday and we've read 3 books this week. I'm actually literally about to head out the door for like a weekend away. I have several books in my backpack. I'm gonna download some on my Kindle. I have no idea what I'm gonna read next. This was not the smartest timing on my part in terms of when to do this video. I'm gonna be so honest. It's now currently 11:45 on Saturday. And where is it? I still have like a significant amount of the book left. And I'm not gonna finish it tonight. I'm on page 250 and there are 437 pages. I still have over 180 pages left. Definitely not gonna finish it tonight. So yeah, and this is book number 4. After this I still have 3 books left and tomorrow's the last day of the challenge, so not sure how well that's gonna fare. up reading about like 100 pages of the American Rose. So I've only got about like 80 pages left or something, which is a lot more than I thought I was gonna read. Sound a lot later than I should have. Ooh. I'm actually really enjoying this book. I was thinking last night it's reminding me of like some movie I used to watch when I was younger. However, I can't actually like remember what movie it is. I'm having a really fun time. Oh wow.
Check the weather this week. It'll be hotter than crap. I get rid of Tulsa. Just got rid of Tulsa.
No. So, okay, so I finished reading American Royals. Crazy. It's currently almost 9 o'clock and we're waiting 9 p.m. and we're currently about to go we're waiting to get on our plane to go back to Phoenix. So it's about like a 2-ish hour flight. And I decided the next book that I want to read is Princess in Waiting by Meg Cabot. I'm kind of hoping I can read most of that. I just wanted something a little bit light and fluffy and like zero brain power, which these are. I always have such a fun time reading them. It's been a while since I've read one. So I'm gonna see if I can't read like most of this on the flight. We look a little bit more put together, a little bit more reins in than the last time you saw me. And I did end up finishing Princess in Waiting by Meg Cabot last night on the plane. And by the time I finished, I only had like 20 minutes left on the flight. So I ended up reading a book I was already in the middle of, just because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to finish another book for this video last night. It's now Monday, which is when we started this video last week. And I only read 5 books. I say I only read 5 books. That's a lot to read in 7 days. But I say only because the goal was 7. But 5 books is still a lot, you know? Don't want to discredit that. And I want to make it clear that I still read 5 books. Some final thoughts on the books that I read. The first book I read was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Loved it. And I think I might have to make this 5 stars. Like, I originally rated it 4.5 stars, but I've been just like, it's just been like simmering in my mind, like in the back of my mind as I've been reading all these other books. I'm like, An Ember in the Ashes. I really enjoyed that book. I kind of want to pick up the next one. So don't be surprised if like in my next video you see me reading the next book in this series, A Torch Against the Night. This was like maybe the most fun I'd had like reading a fantasy novel in like a while. I was so enjoying like the world building and the development of the characters and the conflict, and you know, the setup for the next book was just really well done, I think. And, you know, it did its job, because now I'm like, I kind of want to read the next one. You know, that is the whole point of like the first book in the series, is to make you want to read the next one. But also, you got to make sure that you're not doing too much world building and plot development that the reader isn't like having fun and enjoying themselves while they're reading it, you know? And I think that the balance was really well done in this. I wrote in my review when I initially finished it that I was rating it 4.5 stars, and I was like, I definitely see the potential to be a 5-star series, but now it's like, now this is a 5-star book, so how about that? Then I read Runaway, Bride and Prejudice by Emma St. Clair. This is book number 5 in the Appy series, which is a clean honky romance series that I've really been enjoying. And this one was really cute. I feel like the chemistry developed really well between the 2 characters, and it was such an interesting plot line, because we start off the book at the female main character's wedding, you know, hence the runaway bride. She finds out the groom has been cheating on her, and she already kind of had like an existing attraction with the male main character. They had met a while ago, but then he ran away because he found out she's his hockey coach's daughter. Then he becomes her like getaway driver for the wedding and ends up going with her on what was supposed to be her honeymoon as like a friend, so she's not alone, you know. A very interesting storyline. I think I had personally never read anything like this before I read Runaway, Bride and Prejudice. Obviously it did move a little fast. A little faster than I probably would have liked. However, it honestly was probably about the same amount of time that all the other books have been, you know? Romance books don't usually take place over a very long period of time. Is that really like a qualm about this book, or is that just about like the romance genre in general? And then I read Five Survive by Holly Jackson, and this book, I say this with all of Holly Jackson's books, but once I get to the end and I find out the twist and like how it connected all throughout the book, I'm like, I had no idea, and I never could have guessed that. I do wish we could have like gotten a little bit more about the characters after like the plot twist, because it kind of just went like plot twist, resolution, book's over. That's like not really like the best way to describe it, but I feel like we kind of maybe like lacked a little bit of closure with the characters just because of like things that had been brought up in the book. I guess it's assumed how those things went, but like we don't really know. And like maybe that's the whole point of this book. She kind of wanted to leave it a little bit open-ended. She likes to do that with her books sometimes, but I feel like when I'm reading a thriller, I do like a little bit of closure with the characters. Then I read American Royals by Catherine McGee. Now this book, gonna be honest, was not really what I thought it was gonna be. However, I am notorious for going into books without really knowing anything about the book. So when I say it went against what I thought it was gonna be, that was like what I made up in my head about the book. So is it really that surprising that it didn't align with what I had made up in my head? No. Like I said in one of my clips, that reading this book was really reminding me of something. I couldn't figure out what it was, and I still can't. So sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger, but it was just giving me like a really nostalgic feeling for something that I just couldn't remember. But once again, had such a fun time reading this, and I was like enthralled. I was like on a trip with my family, so like I couldn't really read much during the day. So I was like constantly waiting for everybody to go to bed so I could pick this book back up and like read more of it. And it was keeping me up, and I can't remember the last time a book like actually kept me up. You know, frequently I feel like I go to bed and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read and I'm gonna finish this, but then I end up falling asleep anyways. Like I can't remember the last time I went into reading a book not intending to finish it, and then it just like kept me up so much later than I wanted to be, than I had planned to be up. So yeah, definitely will be continuing this series. The final book that I read was Princess in Waiting, which is book 4 of the Princess Diaries series by Meg Cabot. Now I have to say, much to my disappointment, this was my least favorite book that I've read so far in the Princess Diaries series. I have said before, and I've raved about the Princess Diaries series, that I always have such a fun time reading them. They are hilarious, absolutely hysterical, and I'm just constantly like laughing out loud reading this. And I feel like that Princess in Waiting definitely had the least amount of like super funny things in it. And I'm not gonna lie, Mia kind of annoyed me a little bit in this book, but she hasn't been doing so much in the past books, and so maybe that kind of negated a bit of my enjoyment of it, but I definitely was not laughing out loud so much. Like when I say I'm laughing out loud, like I usually have like 20 quotes that I've highlighted that I was audibly laughing about, and I had maybe like 2 or 3 in this book. So that's like disappointing. I ended up rating it at 2.75 stars. I've never really rated any of these books super highly, but this one, I just wanted it to be funny like the last ones were, and it just wasn't. So those are the 5 books that I read in this video. The goal was 7, but I would say still reading 5 books in 7 days while going on a trip, editing other YouTube videos, working 20 plus hours, and like still doing chores around the house and stuff, and sleeping, I would say 5 books in 7 days is pretty impressive. In the end, I originally rated An Ember in the Ashes 4.5 stars, changed that to a 5 stars. Then I read Runaway, A Bride in Prejudice, and rated that a 3.75 stars. 5 Survive, which I gave a 4 stars. American Royals, which I also gave a 4 stars. And Princess in Waiting, which I gave a 2.75 stars. There you have it, guys. That is my attempt to read 7 books in 7 days. Maybe next time I'll accomplish it. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. Comment down below your last 5-star that you just simply cannot stop thinking about. And subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.